Magic is an art of performance. But before the performance begins, a little preparation is needed. Welcome to Lyney and Lynette's Magic Show.
Magic show indeed, my friends. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and now we're doing a day one guide on Lyney in the TCG. And while he may be able to make the cards disappear in your hand, he won't be doing that in TCG. He'll be doing a different kind of magic, which is completely destroying you. Oh my goodness. This card is really just not what I expected in the slightest for Lyney to be, because he just does so much, and that's why it actually took a while to be doing his day one guide, because I wanted to do him first, but he just does so much stuff that, like, you know, I needed more time to really digest and take a look at what he does. So dropping into our first match, which I will be using for the explanation, and it is the deck I actually played last time with Lynette, so that's going to be fun, but it's time for his kit, so let's get into it. All right, so Lyney is a Pyrobo from Fontaine, and also counts as Fatui, and then there's a new Musha thing, but that's really only for NPCs. But anyway, we're gonna get through them all here. Let's speed this up. There we go. All right, so here is Lyney, and he has 2 normal attacks. That's right, kind of similar to Ganyu, who has our quote-unquote charge shot, even though it's a normal attack. Lyney also gets his charge shot in the TCG, and this is Prop Arrow. Now, Prop Arrow is a very interesting and kind of the integral piece of his kit, because you do 2 pyro damage, and it costs 3 aligned dice, and it summons a Grim Malkin hat on the side. So let's get into that right now. And the other thing that people were really worried about when you look at Lyney is that he does self damage every time. As long as you're above 6 HP or equal to, then you will deal 1 piercing damage to yourself, so you can't negate it with shields. Don't think you're slick, buddy. Just look at that. Boom. So Lyney will do 2 damage, and now a Grim Malkin hat has become summoned. Now this is super important because there's another ability inside this called Prop Surplus. Now, when Prop Surplus is active, it's a little status on your character. You can stack it up to 3 times, and when you use your skill, just like in the main game, you will heal and do +1 damage for every bit of HP that you lost, which only stacks up to 3. But you know, that's still quite a lot, because, you know, if you take a look at his skill, Bewildering Lights, it does 3 damage. Now what happens when you add 3 + 3? You do 6 damage, and with Pyro and some reactions, that is a lot of damage, my friends. So not only is Lyney going to be dropping these summons left and right to kind of just pester your opponent, you know, having this big damage here with Bewildering Lights is a huge deal. I will quickly go over the verse because I don't believe it's as integral to his kit, but it is still a very nice thing, and, you know, once again, always just a really good reference to the main game. Lyney is such a good like, you know, main game kit, you know, and they translate it super well here. Wondrous Trick, Miracle Parade, deal 3 pyro damage, and summon 1 Grim Malkin hat. So literally it is basically Prop Arrow, except you don't take -1 damage, which is great. And then yeah, no, that's pretty much it. You also get a stack of Prop Surplus, that's what I'm trying to say, which is super nice. So, you know, if you're doing bad on HP, you can always just drop that, get it in there, and it'll help out a lot, you know, with continuing to stack your absurd amount of damage onto Lyney. Now, as I already stated, kind of the most important thing about Lyney is his charge shot and this Prop Surplus mechanic, because at the end of the day, all you really want from him is to just nuke and do a ton of damage. Now, you would think that himself doing 1 piercing is significantly bad, but surprisingly, even when you start with him or you put him in last as a nuke, which you'll be seeing in the other showcases, is that he is pretty much fine. Like, this dealing about 3 damage to yourself in exchange for a really big nuke, and plus also the fact that you re-heal all that damage from Prop Surplus, is a pretty big deal, to be honest. And it makes it so that realistically, Lyney not only has a little bit of extra survivability, you know, and can really just kind of surprise your opponent with his Prop Surplus. Now we will get to see what he does in just a moment after I shred things down. But Lyney can be used in a lot of ways. Like here, this is the deck that I did last time for Lynette. You know, he's kind of here to be the pyro applier and do a lot of stuff, but he can also just be a super good end game nuke. So being both an applier and end game nuke, and just he can kind of do everything. Well, not literally, but anyway, one more thing about his kit, his talent card, which is surprisingly very good. Conclusive Ovulation. when Lyney uses this, you're going to be using your charged attack, not your skill. So keep that in mind. Sometimes it's going to be a little confusing, especially when it's not super obvious what you know, when both of your skills have three damage on them. And when I play it, it'll actually deal +2 damage for anyone affected by pyro. So we're taking it as a little mono pyro thing into account. So anyone who has a pyro aura on top of them will take extra damage. And keep this in mind, because I am pausing here on purpose, is because your talent card will take effect immediately. So right now I actually just did bonus damage to Zhongli, and that means therefore myself, I cannot reobtain this bonus damage again during the turn because I already used it. So my next charge shot will still do +2, or we'll just do 2, and then my Grim Malkin hat will only do 1 in the end phase. So you need to keep in mind when you use this talent. Now, one thing that is very funny is that it says when Lyney is on field and has this card equipped, the damage dealt by Lyney and your Grim Malkin hat will do a +2. The funny part is that this still triggers when you're not on Lyney, because it says when he's on field, so that can confuse some people. I do believe the wording is actually consistent throughout the TCG, but it will confuse a lot of people, because I'm like, oh wait, that means I have to stay on him, right? Well, no you don't. I can actually just swap to Jean, assuming I didn't proc talent card. Keep in mind, there's still 1 player on limit, and then I will be able to proc the 3 damage Grim Malkin hat. 3 damage from summons is a lot. Like, if you've been playing against Electro Thundering Manifestation, that thing hurts, and so does this one, my friends. Anyway, but yeah, that is kind of everything to talk about Lyney's kit and just the adaptability that he can do. And I will show you the shred this shred down I'm about to take onto Zhongli's shield. So once we get to that, but yeah, it's just in general, I'm just really surprised by what Lyney can do in the TCG. You know, like, it's not anything I expect in the slightest, because, you know, the piercing damage really pushes people away from trying this character out. Now, I can talk a little bit about game plans, because I actually don't really do this for a lot of characters where I need to go super in depth, but Lyney is one of those cases because he's just go crazy. But anyway, so for Lyney, like here when I'm using with my own deck, which Sunfire Mao is, I have him start as the Pyro Applicator plus Initiator, because talent card is super duper strong, you know, making my summons deal 3 damage because I put myself off field for most of the time, and then I can kind of end game nuke. So I get to kind of show Lyney's full repertoire, you know, in this showcase here. There we go, dropping the hat because I'm already below 5 HP, so prop arrow is kind of useless. Now I still get my prop surplus. But yeah, no, so I use him at the start to spread out the pyro, and I actually believe I might get my 3 bonus damage. Nope, I already used it earlier. Darn, unfortunate. But anyway, I use him to spread pyro, and then in the end game I can just kind of come in and sweep, because I'm facing a fully kitted Zhongli, my friends. Zhongli, you know, he's not really a character that people think of too much because he's really reliant on his equipment to just become an absolute beast. But look at over here, my friends. Tenacity of the Mill, Vortex Vanquisher, Dominance of Earth. I am going to have a bad time, but Lyney does not care about your shields because he will just shred you in the end game. So take a look. Boom, dead. Now it's Jean's turn. She's on the chopping block. I do a Gale Blade because Jean thinks she can do that. And then here it comes. Oh boy, oh boy. Dropping everything. Crunch. And now it is Lyney's turn. But if you take a little look-sees about what's about to happen, I have a few things in my hand that might make it a little devastating. And I think that's the biggest part about Lyney's kit, is that keep in mind that this on-demand ability to do a significant amount of pyro damage with kind of very little drawback, you know, only really losing 1 HP, you know, you'll live with a slap on the wrist, is that at base you're doing 4 damage consistently, and if you stack it up all the way, you know, 5 and 6, that's a lot. And it should be enough to close the game here, because you can also boost it with other damage. So let's take a look-sees. Boom, I go with 1 shot. Zhongli is out of dice, so they have to end. And then I drop a tandoori chicken. Chef Mao refunds me my dice, and I send him to the Shadow Realm. Boom, 8 damage. Oh my goodness, this character is disgusting. What's it called? Yeah, I do understand. You know, sorry if the Lyney explanation is a little long-winded, but Lyney just has so much stuff about him that you can do. It really is not what I expected at all in the slightest. Now I will be talking more about his kit, but let's move on to a different deck now. You know, the Sunfire Mao deck that you can find over in the description of my Lynette guide, so you can go ahead and check that one out. But there's a reason I'm spending a lot of time on Lyney, is that look at how many decks I have here, and it's not really even all of them that I have. I'm only featuring these 3 in the video because they're the ones I found to be the most comfortable. I wasn't the biggest fan of Electro Manifestation plus Lyney just yet. It's definitely a good deck, but we'll be saving that for when that video comes out. But anyway, yeah, these are the, like, look at how many decks he just fits into. You got Animo, Rainbow, and another Rainbow with Freeze. It's like, it's really just how well he slots into all these characters stuff. For the next one we're going to be featuring, which is a Hu Tao Wishes Pilot. I put people's names on the deck because they're the ones who made them. Is that the reason I did this is because Hu Tao wishes she was this cool, man, because she could absolutely take full advantage of Layla and Yelan, but the thing is that she's too slow. And you can take a look at the deck list here. It's Artifact Engine plus Boar Princess and Gilded Dreams to just generate me infinite dice because it's a rainbow deck and I can absolutely cheese you. And then this one is LNF, just because I based it off the names because funsies, because it's based off of RxN theory from Enclaire. And it is running a little bit of Artifact Engine talent and stuff, but for the most part, it just in general, it's a very aggro list. And then the last one, you've already seen this on the other videos, so let's jump into the next match and we talk a little more about Lyney and the things you kind of want to watch out for. So let's take a look at this freeze melt Lyney. I don't know what to call it. Pilot made it. Anyway, and I will be piloting the deck. So jumping into this match, skip past this mulligan. There are some things that you do want to kind of keep in mind when you play Lyney, of course, and that is the fact that number one, this guy, this guy's skills is that you need to really be careful about wording in this kind of case, because while this thing is a normal prop arrow, is a normal attack, it will not necessarily be as nice as you think it is, because you aren't able really to reduce it without the actual, like, you know, universal cards such as, you know, Sumeru City. Storm Terror doesn't count, but, like, you know, things like Sumeru City are kind of the only thing that can reduce this thing, because while it's a normal attack, NSC stuff like that, you know, Tandoori's chicken, you know, isn't even gonna work. I actually haven't even tried fish and chips. Fish and chips might not even reduce this, which is kind of scary because, you know, Lyney really needs, actually wait, no, fish and chips is a universal, my bad. Anyway, my bad, fish and chips is actually universal, so we'll reduce it. But my point is that it's gonna be very hard to try and cheat out this skill, so you need to keep that in mind if you think you want to do that with Lyney. Same thing with Bewildering Lights. You know, like, if you want to combo all that together, you kind of want to drop a shot off of Lyney and then jump, and then maybe jump away and then jump into Bewildering Lights. You just have to make sure that you have enough dice for this and this end. That's not necessarily meaning that you need to have ramp. You know, with Lyney, he can absolutely survive off of having no ramp, but it is still something to keep in mind, that even though you think it's a normal attack, it's not cost 3 aligned dice. That's not how it works. But anyway, yeah, moving into the match itself, we'll talk about team comp building kind of in the last section. I think I kind of covered it overall, but yeah, this one's taking significant advantage of Layla stars plus Yelan's burst, Decklists, and dice, because I love Xingqiu Part 2. His character is broken. Anyway, yeah, we're just kind of doing a setup turn, which is why I wanted to drop this video in. And that this is where you know, Lyney really shows his end game potential, is that even with no setup, he can really just drop that damage like a madman, honestly. So this is something that's really cool because, you know, I get to drop in and Bennett thinks he's safe. No, you're not. Layla and Yelan are a very nice combo, or just freeze in general. So now you're stuck. No more game plan for you, my friend. Now we're looking over at Raiden. She's gonna stay there, and now Lyney is about to drop a lot of damage, I'm pretty sure. Now this is some magic tricks, and this is my tangent now for Gilded Dreams. Gilded Dreams is a disgusting card. We'll show the description in just a second. 1, 2, you see that? I just got all those dice for free. It's not fair. It's really not. And I also draw a card too. Oh my goodness. And I did that. Wow, Jesus, man. That's the great part. You know, you can trigger all 3 of these statuses just off of prop arrow. It really is something, you know. But yeah, Gilded Dreams, as I was saying, is just I low-key call it a cheater card, because you generate effectively you generate two dice if you have a rainbow party. And you know, because I have a rainbow party here, you can just keep going. Here I actually kind of do a little bit of skill issue. I was supposed to play Covenant earlier, but yeah, you'll see in like the other rounds that Gilded Dreams can really do a lot. And it's so nice that Lyney isn't restricted, you know, like in the main game, to mono pyro. Despite having his mono pyro talent in the game, you know, he still is able to you know, kind of fit anywhere he wants. As long if you need a pyro nuke, like he's the guy. Moving on through the match, just gonna stalling out the damage on Layla because it is nice to do. Yeah, not too much to say here. What Benedu's talent, zip zip zop. Yeah, it's called. Other things about Gilded is that, you know, you can combine it with the artifact engine, such as artifact cards such as Boar Princess and Lyre Song, and you can, you know, just give yourself even more dice, which is great. And I think we're going to be seeing a Lyney sweeping in soon because Hu Tao takes down my Yulan, and I just hit them with the dang. That's crazy. I normal attack, and not the one you think it is. It's just the normal. Now you're really stuck, my friends. Yeah, and this is where once again I want to showcase Gilded Dreams' just ridiculous potential, because I'm pretty sure what happens here, if I'm not mistaken, I should be, yep, Boar Princess. Put on Gilded Dreams. I get two dice, and then I also get another dice from Boar Princess because that's what it does. You get, there we go. Each time you unequip an equipment card from one of your characters, gain one Omni element, and you can use it twice. So now I have 5 dice, and I think that's plenty to work with because Lyney finished the show and show Hu Tao what she wishes she could be. How unfortunate. GG's. Oh man, this character is something. I think, like, you know, like this comp, like specifically, people did recommend it to me in the comments, and I can definitely see why, because you just get to take full advantage of Layla and also Yolanda if you're able to burst, of course. But yeah, it's not really the deck that I really took a lot of time in. The deck that I actually took a lot of time with Lyney is, you can see, Lyney, Nahida, Fischl. And this deck is really fun to me because it is like kind of like RXN theory. You know, you do a lot of Fischl and Nahida stuff, but Lyney really just comes in and sweeps the whole thing. You know, instead of having to set up on Xiangling and Raiden, you know, like just being able to kind of do your consistent lines like this just feels really good. So let's jump right into this last deck with Fischl, Nahida, and Lyney. Well, I think this one does the most amount of damage. We'll see. We'll see as we get into it. So dropping in a Seed Box, cool card, great for anything that is 1 cost because that's how it works. Anyway, for this deck, you start Fischl, go into Nahida, and then you kind of figure out, you kind of figure it out from there. There's not really a set line, to be honest. Here we go. We get Seed Box. And I also put Gilded Dreams. That's a little preemptive because I'm just worried about them swapping. It's unnecessary, to be honest. Yeah, that is something about Gilded Dreams. Definitely don't be too scared. Just make sure you do your math. During this match, I wasn't doing my math because I'm not. I was not the best at it. Anyway, one thing I do want to make sure I mention, you know, for Lyney is that there are some little quirky things that maybe I'll get to see in this match, not sure. But Lyney, since he does do piercing damage on a skill check, you know, unlike Lynette, who is unable to activate these cards, both Chang the Ninth and Vorukashas can trigger on Lyney. Now, that's not to say Vorukashas can't trigger on Lynette, but Lyney is the one who will get that thing instantly. So, you know, if you have Vorukashas, which I will have in this deck, we'll see it later, maybe. You will be able to trigger it just on Lyney, so, you know, swap over to him, drop a prop arrow, and then you're kind of cooking, which is really cool. Like, you really didn't, like, I always thought self damage in TCG would be a little weird. You know, like even Hu Tao didn't have it because I think the devs were just a little scared, but it's still it's so impressive just how well it ends up working out, because, you know, like being able to trigger like certain things like that, you know, does a lot for your characters, especially when, you know, it leads to more drawing, you know, more convenient effects, especially like Vorukashas, because Vorukashas is just broken. But anyways, I digress. Sliding through the match here, and yeah, that's kind of the only other nuances I kind of have to say about Lyney. I think I've kind of said most of my piece. But I still wanted to showcase like these 3 matches, because usually I limit myself to like 2 matches. But you know, this time it's just like he has too many things you want to try. Like it's great that a character can do that, really. This is another thing. This is just my opinion. I'm not the biggest fan of King Squire with Lyney, and that's really only because I just feel like I don't have enough dice to play it most of the time. But a lot of people do run it, so like I definitely would recommend it if you're trying to do Lyney plus talent. People really think that it is a good combo. It does make sense, because, you know, King Squire, if I equip it and I have talent, not only can I use prop arrow, but I can also use blue wielding whites at 1 cost, of course, with the decision that you make. But it's still not a terrible idea. I just don't like it personally. Cool, yeah. Run through this. Lynette is about to try and beat up her brother, but how you thought. Oh yeah, that's a lot of healing, but he's about to shred that here. Yeah, and this is definitely one of the parts you want to watch out for. Very cautious. I played it because I thought my piercing would go through, because this was like my first time playing the deck, and it doesn't, because I'm below 6 HP. So keep that in mind. Always try to watch your threshold of 6 HP, because otherwise you won't be getting that one piercing you know, that you want for certain effects. Here we go. Swip, swap, swap. Lots of stuff is happening. This person is just absolutely tanking up. I'm gonna run away to official and let them do their thing. This is actually kind of where Lynette's talent griefs a little bit, because it's called it could have actually no, because it doesn't swirl. I was thinking they would have a swirl, but electro application is fine. So oh, there we go. Oh, through the dice roll. All right. Boom. All right, now let's see what happens when Lyney puts in a little bit of work. So I drop my bow and arrow, which will make it so I can do skill at 1 cost, because I figured that, hey, you know, I need to heal in this situation. I'm pretty sure, unless I do something else. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I heal here. Get gamblers in, get a Decklists in. No, I'm going for burst. Burst does indeed do a good amount of damage, because it is 3 plus bow 1, and then plus my Adeptus, that goes all the way up to 7. And now we're, you know, kind of locked in a really bad position. But once again, my friends, Lyney is the end game nuke. So let's just see what happens when he drops it all in. I haven't lost yet. Give me that dice. And boom, and piercing. And that's why the heat is great. GG's. Oh my goodness. Lyney is truly a menace in this game. I really did not expect to enjoy Lyney this much, honestly. He is just a character that he really does do a lot of stuff. Like, you know, I know I've said it like 1,000 times at this rate, but there's so many things that you can do with this kit, and having this on-demand pyro and or summoner, you know, is just something that, you know, you really didn't expect from a character who does self-damage. But yeah, that's honestly all I have to say about Lyney. I've been enjoying him way too much. You know, this character overall is just really something special, to be honest, and I'm glad that's the case, you know. Anyway, let's go ahead and slide over to the deck list that I have. So like I said earlier, if you wanted to find the Lynette deck list, you can find it on the Lynette video. And here are the 2 deck lists. This one's from the left one's from Enclaire, the other one is from Pilot. I took them both from the Discord server. You can find us at discord.gg/GITCG. And I hope you all enjoyed this guide, even though it was a little long-winded and also a little bit slightly bit all over the place. But it's still, Lyney is just, he's a complicated character, but he can do a lot. And, you know, if you want to summarize one big thing, a big pyro damage, go boom. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your time, you know, doing the TCG and the holidays. But that is all from me, so we're gonna get out of here, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.